Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Yeah, so you saw the timeless video, so we're going to talk about my labor and delivery story. So first, let's get into it. So my boyfriend's birthday is actually February 11th. Hey babe, how you doing? And I went into labor on February 10th, and our son was born February 11th, so they're 2 days apart. That's real cute. We're gonna, combine birthdays and things like that, combine gifts. I'm just kidding. So what happened was my mucus plug came out on the 9th, actually on his birthday, and I called him. I was like, babe, like, oh my god, that is happening. Like, I thought Jamie was about to just come out, like, because I'm just like, first time mom, kind of scared, like I don't know what's going on. And he just kind of calmed me down, and he was like, I think we have some time. And so yeah, so then the next day I had my doctor's appointment, and they checked my cervix and I was dilated. I think it was like 1 centimeter. And so my mom got all excited, like she was with me, and so we went to Target and get last minute stuff. She was like, "Yeah, we gotta get you moved. We gotta get this baby out." And I was, and I was just like, "Okay, like chill out, grandma." But yeah, so we're walking around Target, and I started feeling like just mini like practice contractions, and I was like, "Oh, this is not really happening today. Like I had plenty of time. Like whatever. Like you know." So then we went to Little Five Points at this grocery store, and while we were in there, it started to get kind of like, okay, this kind of hurt. Like I gotta sit down for a second. Like this is not the move right here. So yeah, sat down for a second. My mom finished her shopping, and that ride home, y'all, like I was in the car, like, bruh, like this hurts. This is starting to hurt. And still wasn't that intense. It was kind of mild, just like uncomfortable. And then I was in Atlanta traffic, so I was really irritated. I just want to get home and get in the bed and chill for a minute. So I got home, ate some dinner, was chilling in the bed, and had my little sister actually warm up my food and bring it to me because I was just like, I'm done. Like, I'm in the bed, like, chilling. And around 8 o'clock, I text my parents. They were actually, yeah, around, and I texted them, and I was like, I think these are starting to get kind of serious now because they were actually hurting, and I was like, I think I should start timing them, like they were uncomfortable, like I had to kind of stop for a second, and then I had diarrhea, TMI, and then I started throwing up like every contraction, like I was just over the toilet, like just chilling, not really chilling actually, it really was uncomfortable. But yeah, so I was throwing up after everyone, which made it more unbearable. And I was just like, you know what, like, ain't nobody got time for this. So called my boyfriend, and I told him. Well, actually, I called him when I was at the grocery store, and I texted him, and I was like, hey, you want to catch a flight? Because he lives in LA. Yeah, we do long distance. It's real, we make it work. But yeah, so he was like, okay, like let me get a flight, let me come on. So so then, what happened? So then it was like 8 o'clock, and then around midnight, my mom came in. She was like, "You ready to go to the hospital?" And I was like, "Yeah," like, because at this point, I had just been throwing up every time. Like, I was exhausted. I was ready to just, like, let's go, let's do this. So my mom, she was like, "All right, I'm gonna go take a shower." I was like, like, hello, I'm in labor, lady. So she went and took a shower and then came back, and my stepfather and her helped me to the car, still throwing up on the way to the hospital. And y'all, that was like the worst ride in life. Like it was like, I think it was like maybe like 1 or 2 in the morning. So we finally get to the hospital, and they put me in the wheelchair and wheeled me to the front office or whatever. And the lady's asking me all these questions and my driver's license, emergency contact. Now, mind you, months in advance when I was still pregnant, I filled out all this paperwork, right? So I wouldn't have to do this that I'm doing right here. She's asking me these questions, and I'm just over here like this. She's like, ma'am, like, what's your emergency contact? I can't hear you. And I'm trying to muffle through, like, throw up breath. And I'm like, hello, like, labor, like, having a baby. And my mom took over and, answered her questions and everything. And so I was at triage. I was waiting for the nurse to come get me, and they came shortly after, and that was just a blur because I was like barely holding on, like my eyes barely open, like I was just done. And so lay me in the bed and strap the little thing to your belly and all that jazz. And And they checked me, and I think I was only 4 centimeters. I was like, wait, no, please don't send me home, because I had thought about that, because I had heard stories of if you're not far along enough, they'll, send you home and tell you to wait it out a little bit. And I was like, I can't throw up no more. Like, please, like, don't. But since I was throwing up, my mom told me that they wouldn't send me home because I was dehydrated and they have to monitor me and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. So shortly after that, I got a room and still throwing up. They gave me something for the nausea, but it wasn't working. And I still at this point hadn't had any kind of pain meds or nothing, because I planned to do natural, because that was my birth plan, which I forgot about when I got to the hospital. I forgot my whole birth plan, didn't even have it on me. No one remembered. I was just kind of like going with the flow, which happens, ladies. Like, that happens sometimes. Like, so don't be too hung up on your exact birth plan, because it always deviates. You gotta leave some room for something to change, because things happen. So anyway, yeah, got up to my room, and yeah, that the medicine they gave me for nausea wasn't working, still throwing up. And I had been laboring, let's see, since like a little before 4 o'clock the previous day, so for a long time. And by the time they asked me for pain, if I want anything for pain, it was about 5 or 6 in the morning. And at that point I was like, yes, because I was still throwing up every contraction, and they were coming quickly, like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes apart. And that was actually, and I was dilating very quickly also. So, and my boyfriend still wasn't there. So it was a good thing that I went ahead and took the epidural, because it slowed everything down, which I didn't want to take, but y'all, like, I couldn't throw up no more. Like, I had no more throw ups to give. Like, I was just done. So luckily I did that, slowed things down, and he was able to get there. He came around like 10 a.m. My stepfather picked him up from the airport and brought him to the hospital. And he walked in, he missed all the terrible parts and the agony, because he walked in, I was just telling him, I was like, what's up, bro? Like, I'm just in the bed, like, hey, babe, like, welcome, And, yeah, so I was still laboring, still having contractions, but no pain. Like, I was just, like, I remember telling the nurse, like, oh, I love drugs. Like, why did I wait for this? And, yeah, so it was just really pleasant at that point. And then the epidural started to wear off. Now, I thought that might happen to me because when I used to get dental work, the anesthesia wear off quickly. And my dentist told me it's because I metabolize medicine very quickly. So, yeah, it started to wear off. And then, mind you, I had been in labor for a long time. I don't know how many hours, y'all, because I don't remember, but it was a long time. And so I started to feel the contractions. I think it was on my left side. I started to feel my leg and everything again. I was like, hold on now, somebody needs to come fix this. Like, this is not the move. Because once I got kind of used to the medicine, so I was like, I didn't want to feel this. So then they called the doctor back in there to give me a redose. And so it kind of worked a little bit. And then around 11 or so at night, I remember because my family, it was a Thursday night, and we had just watched Grey's, and now we were watching How to Get Away with Murder or Scandal or something, and it started to wear off again. But at that time I was at 8 centimeters, and so they were kind of like, well, it's time to push. And I was like, but wait like, oh wait, no, 10 centimeters is when you start pushing. Sorry, I can't remember. But so I was at 8 and then quickly progressed to 10, and they were like, okay, it's time to start. So I did kind of get my wish to have, give birth naturally, because the medicine like wore off like almost completely. Like, I still need a little help holding my legs up, but I could feel everything, like all of that there, like all of it. So I did some practice pushes, and y'all, oh, I forgot to tell you, so my back was hurting so bad. I was having like back labor. I know some women experience that, and mine was because my son was facing face up at first, so his head and everything was putting pressure on my spine. So eventually he turned around, but like for like a few hours straight, it was just back labor. I was crying, and like, like my boyfriend came to kind of console me, and I was like, oh, it hurts so bad, like, like it was just painful. Like, the back labor was intense. And because it was so intense, like, I had seen on all the birth videos that I watched, like women giving birth on their hands and knees, and I was like, oh, can I do it this way? And like, I came in, I'm on all fours, my doctor's like, what you doing though? And I was like, can I please like give birth like this? Like it hurts so bad, like my back hurts. And she was like, you can try, but it's gonna be kind of counterproductive. And I was like, dang. My mom came over, she was like, Christina, you need to turn around. You need to lay down, because at that point she was over it. She had been at the hospital with me for so long, and she was just like ready to meet her grandson. I was like, okay, that's understandable. So, lay on my back, do some practice pushes, and y'all, when you think you're pushing hard enough, you're not. Like, push harder than your hardest, because I was bearing down, and like I was like, yes, I'm pushing so hard, like the baby's moving. And Jaden was chilling. He was like nowhere in sight. Like, and they were like, push. I was like, I am pushing. And so, so then I did some really good pushes, and he started to kind of crown a little bit. And like the last push and that last contraction, I pushed and he was crowned. He was right there. Like you could see him, head full of hair, just like his mom. And my mom was like, I see him. Like, so my boyfriend's on this side holding this leg, my mom's on the other side holding the other leg. And the doctor's in front, like, like ready to go. And like since he was crowning, like have you heard of the ring of fire? Like it burned so bad. Like I was like, okay, do I have to wait till the next contraction, or can I just get him out of here? She was like, well, you don't have to wait, you can go ahead and push him out. I was like, okay. And then like my mom was like, he's coming out. Like I just surprised her. And my boyfriend said it was like, I was like, did you see his head pop out first? He was like, no, it was like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, like same time. Like he's just like shot out. And they put on my chest, and y'all, that was like the best feeling ever. Like I'm about to cry thinking about it. Like it was just amazing. And they put him on me with his back to me, and I remember saying like, oh, I can't see your face, but I know you're cute. And I was just kissing him, and he was all warm, and he cried a little bit. And he had pooped inside of the womb. It's called meconium, so the nurse took him for a second to kind of clean out his nose and his lungs and everything, and gave him right back to me. And yeah, and it was just like the most wonderful moment like I've ever experienced. And I just like, I know people say that's indescribable. It really is. Like you just have to be there. You have to experience it. And yeah, it was just like just seeing his face, and just like you came out of me and now you're real, like in my hands. Like it was just surreal. Like I made you, like God created you inside, and now you're here. You're not in there anymore. And it was just, yeah. And so they, sewed me up, all this stuff, because I did tear just a little bit. And, and then I was mad because I wanted to see my placenta, because I'm real, into medical stuff. And the lady that collected the cord blood just came and like swiped it. I'm like, swiper, no swiping. Like, where's my placenta? Like, you just gonna take it? You just not gonna say nothing? Like, I didn't even see her. And my boyfriend saw it, and he was like, yeah, it looked really cool. It was still pulsating. I was like, dang, like I didn't even get to look at it. So I felt robbed about that. And then part of my birth plan was to have a mirror, because I wanted to see him come out. And I completely forgot. Like I told you, like your birth plan kind of goes out the window. You just kind of go with the flow. And yeah, so I felt like robbed, because my boyfriend got to see everything, my mom, and I was like, I didn't get to see anything. I'm just looking at the doctor's forehead the whole time. But it's all good, because at the end of the day, all that matters is our beautiful baby boy, Jaden, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And so I also left this part out. So now, mind you, in my birth plan, there were only supposed to be 2 people in the room with me as far as family, and it was my boyfriend and my mom. Like, nobody else supposed to be in there. And somehow, my whole family was in the room when I gave birth. Like, my stepfather was in there, my brother, my little sister, everybody, and their mama. And I was just like, okay, I wasn't even thinking about it at the time, but I remember as I was pushing, like looking over at my brother, and he looked so uncomfortable. And I remember after Jaden was born, I asked him, I was like, so bro, how did it feel to be in the room? He was like, I've seen more of you than I need to see. And I just thought that was so funny. And I want to say that overall, my birth experience was absolutely amazing. Like the staff at DeKalb Medical in, North Decatur Road, like they were amazing. In my practice, where I went to get see my doctors and get my, you know, checkups and everything, they're awesome. Like, and that speaks volumes. That really sticks with you when you're in that situation, because you're at your most vulnerable. So you depend on these people to take care of you and treat you right and all that stuff. And I must say, like, the nursing staff, the doctors, like the lactation specialists, all of them were very accommodating, like answering all my questions. And you know, and so it kind of takes away from, you know, the fact that they're in your room like 24/7 after you give birth, checking on you. It's kind of annoying, but they're pleasant and they're looking out for you. They're making sure you're okay. They have to check your vitals. They have to check on the baby, you know. So yeah, it was very pleasant, despite, you know, me not sticking to my so-called birth plan. Like, they, you know, they really helped assist out, and especially the lactation specialists, because y'all, breastfeeding is it's good now, but it was a challenge, like Bill Cosby, like it really was. And they helped me a lot. Like, I called them and they were there within 5 minutes every time to help me get in the latch and everything. And I remember that night at the hospital, like, I remember crying, like, while I'm rocking my son back to sleep, because, you know, it's weird. Like, you kind of miss them being in your stomach, because it's like, you know, it's really emotional, and then, you know, all the hormones, all that stuff going on. But yeah, my birth experience was amazing, and you know, that has an impact on whether or not you have children in the future. And I definitely plan to have more. Like, I honestly, if I'm living somewhere else, I will come back to DeKalb Medical just to give birth, honestly, because it was just that great. And the hospitals are really nice, and the suites where you give birth and everything are really nice. And yeah, it was awesome. They treated me, my family, like, amazingly. So I know you all want to meet this little bundle of joy that I've been talking about. This is our son, Jaden. Say hi, baby. Say hi, YouTube. You're like, what is this? Hi, poopy. Hey, 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 hey. You gonna smile? You gonna smile for everybody? You gonna smile? Maybe. Y'all can't tell probably on camera, but his eyes are grayish blue, and in the middle it's like a greenish brown. Oh, there's a good shot. And actually, speaking of Jaden, so his name is Jaden Kai Anderson, and this necklace actually is named after him. It's called Kai. I made this. This is on the website too, on NinaArnell.com. Say hi, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. You're not gonna laugh? Oh, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, I guess he doesn't want to smile today. He's just looking in amazement at the camera. Who's that, baby? Who's that? Okay. Okay, y'all. So, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you like this video, and comment and let me know what else you guys like to see on this channel. My next video, I'll talk about my postpartum experience, stretch marks, breastfeeding, you know, all that stuff. So, y'all have a wonderful rest of your week, a wonderful weekend, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Say bye.